Good afternoon. My name is Jerry Sosha, Director of Marketing for Ferno, and I'd like to welcome you to the Ferno webcasting series. Today we're going to share with you the iNX. This is our exciting new integrated patient transport and loading system. Now before we get started, I just want to remind you that there is a chat feature in the lower right-hand portion of your screen, and we'll be answering your questions throughout this webcast. Today I'm joined by Tom Cox, our Director of Training. Tom, how are you doing today?
Great, Jerry. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad to have you here, and we're going to have Tom share with you and show you the iNX in just a moment. But before we do, Tom, I wanted to talk about really just some troubling data that we see in the industry. Across EMS, there's very high rates of injury. We know that about 1 out of 2 medics experience a back injury throughout their career, and these injuries can be very expensive to an agency, costing upwards of $20,000 or $30,000 per injury, and they can often result in up to 90 days lost work time for an individual. So there's an impact to agencies, but more importantly, there's an impact to medics, to our audience members. And Tom, I was hoping you could tell us just a little bit about what causes these injuries and how does the iNX provide a solution?
Well, you know, it's very simple. Most of the injuries are caused by lifting, both up and down, in and out, loading and unloading from the back of an ambulance, up and down stairways with patients, poor ergonomics. So there's a lot of things that go into that. Most of it's around loading and unloading the patient. There's a lot of strain that goes on the back there.
And I understand the iNX provides a solution to really stop lifting, both in and out of the ambulance and on scene, correct?
Well, that's exactly what the iNX was designed to do, is to help you stop lifting and give you opportunities to use other ergonomics that are favorable to you to help prevent those injuries long term.
Fantastic. Well, Tom, maybe you can go ahead and show us the iNX. Take us for a test drive.
Absolutely. Let me bring in Stacy, who's going to be my partner throughout this, because this is a two-person operation. The independent legs are great, and the best way to show this, Jerry, is with a patient, loading and unloading. So would you mind doing the honors?
I'd love to.
Okay.
What do I do?
Well, I've already put the wheel locks on, so I'm going to lower the iNX down so it's a little easier for you to get on and off. And let's get you strapped in.
Okay.
And the first thing you'll notice is that the mattress is made of memory foam, so I hope that you'll find it really, really comfortable. How's it feel?
Oh, it really feels comfortable.
It's got a rip-resistant cover on it, so it's very, very durable. And then, as you'll notice with Stacy putting the new restraint system on, is that those restraints come over your shoulders instead of being attached to the back of the patient backrest.
Okay, now what's the benefit of that, Tom?
Well, should there be an accident, and like a head-on collision or if somebody slams the brakes on, you're not going to slide off the end of the iNX until the old restraints would grab you.
So these keep me in a fixed position and keep my head from going past the edge of the cot in a crash so that I don't have a head strike.
That's right. You're going to stop right there because that's where the straps are. There's also a chest strap that keeps you from coming this way off the iNX. So it's a very, very safe and easy to apply restraint system.
Now what's this that Stacy just put down?
So we've also got new armrests, and they're positional. They'll fit to a number of different positions, and they're hooked to the backrest. So Stacy, if you'd like to bring him up to a more comfortable, there we go. So you can notice that they changed with the backrest. And the interesting thing about these, Jerry, is I can pull it out, and if I have a heavier patient or something on there, that will allow a little bit more room. And it also serves as a great IV stand. Okay, so a medic, if we're inside the ambulance, can use this as a support for an IV start or blood pressure. Absolutely, absolutely. And then you just snap back into place. Oh, fantastic. So a couple new features that you won't find anywhere else. Okay. So, you know, now that we have got you loaded, I'm going to release the wheel locks. And with a one-button operation, that's all there is throughout this entire thing, is I'm going to press the plus button and bring you up to a pre-programmed safe transport height. Okay, and so this is the height that we'd roll around? This is the height that you'd transport someone in, this height or lower. But at least it's pre-programmed so you won't go over it, and there's safety features built in to let me know if I'm trying to transport you in a too high position. Okay, fantastic. So we're going to move you up to the vehicle, and the other nice thing about the iNX is that they're is pre-programmed load height capability. So up to 36 inches of ambulance floor, I can pre-program my vehicle to that load height.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's very easy to go from vehicle to vehicle. So I'm going to press and hold, because we already have this level plugged in. There it is, and now we're ready to go. So I'm just going to push straight in, and Stacy's going to help me and make sure that the safety bars are set.
The hook's set.
And by pressing the minus button, Jerry, I'm going to transfer the weight of the NX and allow that leg to come up.
Now, Tom, you're not holding any weight right now.
I'm not holding anything.
It's entirely supported by the ground and the ambulance floor, correct?
That's right. Right now, the weight is on the front load wheels with the safety bar on it, and the wheels back here on the legs of the NX. Now, you also notice that as we brought it up, the tail end or the operator end of the NX came up just a little bit. And that's to help load this without any extra lifting. Sometimes in certain kinds of cots, you have to lift to get the wheels in right at the floor, and we don't have to do that with the NX.
And I imagine as well, if the ambulance is on a grade or a hill and there's misalignment, that helps overcome that as well, correct?
It very much does. And the other thing is I've got telescoping load handles here. So if I need better maneuverability or I want to stay away from your feet, I can certainly do that by pulling these out, and they have the controls right on them.
Great.
So now all I got to do is push you in halfway, and we'll set that intermediate safety bail, and that's what my partner is there to do, to make sure that you're taken care of as a patient, number one, but also to make sure that those safety bars are being set in the hook. So now that we're there, I'm going to lower the NX onto the floor of the ambulance and make sure that safety hook is set. And then I'm going to make an adjustment to the weight just by pushing the button, and up the wheels will come.
Now, Tom, you're not holding any weight right
now. As you can see, I'm just supporting your weight here or here. Either way that is comfortable for me. I'm just making sure that you don't go anywhere. I'm just being safe.
That's amazing. Now, how is that happening? What's making that possible?
Well, as I said, we transfer the weight. And so when I push the button, what happened is the weight transferred from this back wheel onto the intermediate load wheel. So now the weight, your weight, as well as the weight of the NX, are all on those two wheels, the front load wheels and the intermediate load wheels. So all the weight's in there, so all I have to do at this point is push you in, and there's absolutely no lifting whatsoever. And then I'll hook you into the restraint or the safety.
Well, that's just amazing. So no lifting throughout that entire process.
No lifting whatsoever.
Now, Tom, I understand that once we're locked in the fastener, some things are happening right now, correct?
Yeah, number one, and probably most important, is the battery maintenance program. We have an in-vehicle charge system called the ICS, and once we put you in the mount, the ICS takes over and charges the battery. So whatever we used up loading you at your home and transporting you and loading you into the ambulance is being recharged once I get back into that safety belt.
I'm not juggling batteries around. I don't have to carry extras with me. It's just always charging.
And a normal crew operating is not going to change that battery for perhaps months at a time.
Fantastic. That's amazing.
So,
all right. So I also understand that there's an interoperability benefit to the way we're fastening in, correct?
That's right. First of all, as I mentioned, we can adjust this to fit in just about any vehicle's floor level. So we can go from vehicle to vehicle. So if one vehicle breaks down, you can put it in another. But also, the antler system is a common antler system. So we don't have to do a lot of changing around with the antlers or anything like that. We can go from vehicle to vehicle.
Oh, amazing. All right. So I assume coming out of the vehicle is similar to how we came in?
It is. I'll release you from the mount and pull back. Now this time the safety bails are going to catch, and once they catch, my partner lets me know, and I bring that back leg down first. She's going to release the safety bail, and we're going to come out and set the front safety bail. And the reason that the safety bails are important is you just can't pull it too far. It's just a safety measure. So she'll release you, and now we'll come down to the safe transport height, and away we go.
Tom, that's amazing. I didn't see you do any lifting through that.
I didn't. I did no lifting whatsoever.
So we have a real opportunity to stop lifting while we're loading and unloading the ambulance with the NX, but I also understand there's some additional benefits on scene that help us eliminate and reduce the loads we have to carry when we're moving patients around.
Well, there really is. Because those legs are independent, we can do some tricks to help take advantage of good ergonomics to help prevent injury. For example, we've got a fake curb here on the floor, okay, and I'd like to show you how we could go over that.
Oh, we'd love to see it.
And really take advantage of those legs to keep from hurting ourselves. And we all know that Olympic weightlifters, when they get that tremendous weight up to here, they rest before they bring it up and start doing other things with it. So the reason that's so is it's good ergonomics. They've got their shoulders back, their chins in, their weight is over their hips, and they can hold a lot of weight. The key word is hold, not lift. So what we can do is Stacy steps over the obstruction, and she's going to get into that position. I'm going to lower the NX until she assumes the weight. We're going to hang the weight in her hands, basically, and that will allow the front legs to come up, and we can move over the obstacle and then set them back down. So here we go. You ready, Stacy?
Ready.
So I'll lower it. She's going to assume, up come the legs. We step over the obstruction and set them down. And then it's my turn. So we'll get up to the obstruction, and I will let it come down to me, raise those back legs, and this time I can step over, lower the legs again, and now we're back.
It's really like doing a wheelbarrow. Tom, I didn't see you do any straining or lifting. You didn't have any of this motion. Again, like you said, you're just suspending the weight. That's amazing. The
telescoping load handles, the independent legs allow me to use good ergonomics to make sure I don't hurt myself.
You know, the other thing I'm amazed at is being a patient on the NX, both when we're loading and unloading, and even right now, how smooth it is. There's no jerking around. There's no bouncing. I'm not feeling like I have to reach out and brace myself. It's just very comfortable and very smooth.
Well, while the number one goal might be of the NX to help EMTs not injure themselves and elongate their careers, the side benefit is that the patient is very comfortable and secure the whole time. And that's where, so we can go back over that obstruction, and I could step over it this time. Once again, assume good ergonomics, let the weight come to me, raise those legs, come over, set the legs back down, and now we can get back to Stacy and we can do the same thing. Ready, Stacy?
Ready.
I'll let it come down to her, raise the legs, bring it over, set the legs back down, and we are ready to transport you.
Oh, it's amazing. So again, the independent X-frame legs of the NX give us a unique opportunity to not have to lift when we load and unload, and really reduce the lifting and loads we have to carry on scene as well.
Absolutely.
Now, I understand this leg style also gives us some other unique positions that we can create that also prevent lifting patients.
Yes, one of the most intriguing pieces built into the NX is the capability to move into a chair position. So I'm going to put the locks on, and I'm going to push the chair button on the control panel. We're going to lift the shock frame, and then I'm going to hold the minus button and watch as the NX transforms itself into a chair position.
Oh wow, this is amazing.
So we've got the shock frame, which is fairly level with the floor. We can bring your backrest up a little bit, and now there you are in a kind of a sitting position. It's kind of easy for us to get you on and off.
Great. So this is really both an easy position for me to be able to get off of the NX, but I can imagine if I'm a patient in a seated position, instead of a medic having to lift me onto the stretcher, they can help me stand, pivot me, and I can sit down on my own without you having to take on the added weight.
You know, think about somebody that's in a wheelchair, or they've just had dialysis or something, and it's just easier to pull them right over onto the NX rather than lift them or put them in a flat position. It makes it a lot easier.
Well, Tom, this has been a really exciting experience with the NX. Thank you so much for sharing. We hope that you and the audience have enjoyed this presentation of the Integrated Patient Transport and Loading System. At this time, we'd like to go ahead and take your questions. A reminder that there's a chat feature in the lower right-hand portion of your screen. Send your questions in, and we'll start to answer those in just a minute. But Tom, I understand there's one more feature that we need to share with our audience. There's a lighting package on the iNX, correct?
Right. During the original focus groups, the people told us, give us light. And so we did with the iNX. Let me show you.
I'd love to see it.
So I'll come up to the safe transport height here just so you can see. And with one push of the button, I illuminate the side LEDs.
Oh, that's really great.
And they're on both sides, so when you're in a dark hallway at night, you can actually see where you're going.
And if there's any obstacles or hazards in the way, you can get around them.
Right. Not only that, but there's lights on the front and rear actuators. So as you're going down the hallway, it projects down and out so you can see what's in front of you and behind you in a dark environment.
So with all that lighting, it's really strong illumination. And I understand even if you have a patient on scene, that illumination is strong enough to help with patient care, correct?
It does. Just lower the iNX down towards the patient. You got plenty of light.
Now I understand there's also a lighting feature for roadside accidents, correct?
Yes, there is. And it's a red, white pattern. So, and again, you're down in a ditch, working a car accident in the middle of the night. If you illuminate the iNX in the emergency mode, it just adds a level of protection.
So any motorists who are coming by are alerted to your position and can go around the crew working the scene.
Yes. Yep.
Fantastic. Well, Tom, let's go ahead and take some of the questions that have come in. Tom, the first question I see we have is, does the iNX meet crash standards?
Yes, it is designed to meet all the international crash standards.
Okay, and that also meets current AMD specifications as well?
Yes, it does.
Fantastic. Next question we have, Tom, what accessories are available for the iNX?
Well, there's a few. Most importantly is an IV pole, and that's here. And the iNX has a railing that's got a groove in it. It allows us to use a special quick connect coupler. And so we can add something like an IV pole with this mount on it anywhere we want. So if you want this IV up closer to the patient's head, you can put it there. If you want it down by the foot, you can put it there or on the other side. So I'll show you how it attaches. You just snap it on and close it, and it's locked on. And then you can move it left or right to get it out of the way. And it's got two different IV positions, pole positions, so you can bring it up and down to your desire.
I really like that. So again, can move it anywhere I need. So if I've got a patient, I put them on, the IV pole's here, but I need to have the IV bag on the other side, I can quickly move it.
Very easy.
That's great. I understand there's also an equipment platform as well.
Yes. This is called the pack rack, and you may be familiar with an old pack rack, but this is a new version, and that's how easy it locks into place on the iNX. So it's got a table up here you can mount a monitor or whatever on. It's got two IV poles so you can hang additional bags if you need to. And probably most importantly, it has sides that actually open up so you can move the patient on and off the iNX without having to take the pack rack off.
Oh, this is really neat. I like this, Tom. Now I understand some of the other accessories that will be available include an oxygen bottle holder, as well as an equipment hook for a monitor, and a stow net for the head end where you can put loose gear.
Yes, those are all coming.
Great. Tom, looking at some of the other questions that have come in, related to accessories, will there be a bariatric option available for the iNX?
Yes, and probably the most exciting about that is it'll use this mount so you can actually put it right on and snap it into place.
Okay, and that'll provide support for the added size and mass of a large patient.
It will, yep.
Great. Another question that's related to the bariatric accessory is what will be the weight capacity of the iNX?
The capacity is 700 pounds, and that's the lift capacity as well.
Okay, so it'll hold 700 pounds and lift 700.
Yes, that's right, yep.
Great. Tom, another question that we've had come in from a financing standpoint, is there grant assistance available?
Yes, there is. As a matter of fact, we can refer you to a company that specializes in fire and EMS grants. They have a great deal of knowledge about this type of product and where to look for money, and they can help you, and the best part is it's free.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that's a program we have available to provide that assistance. And on that note, if you are interested in that program, if you go to fernoems.com/grants, we have a form there that can be filled out and provide further information.
That's right, and they'll get back to you in very short order.
Great. Tom, another question that's come in, do you have to modify your ambulance to accept the NX?
Well, the main thing you have to do is swap out your antler. It uses the same holes in the floor that support your current antler, and the NX ships with the antler that you'll need, and all you have to do is swap that out. That's number one. Number two is probably adjust your mount on the side, and the ICS can be installed. But there's no modifications that have to be made to the floor itself.
And that antler, I understand, will fit the floor plates of any manufacturer, correct?
Yeah, that's correct, yes.
Great. And then I think another question that would probably come up from that is any existing cot that you have will fit into that antler, correct?
Yes, that is the plan, yes.
Fantastic. One more question that's come in, Tom, and this may be the last one we take at this time. What's the availability of the NX?
Well, we plan on shipping in 60 to 90 days, and we're taking orders now.
Okay. So it's really important for our customers to go ahead and get your orders in now so that you reserve your place in line.
Yes, we do have a number of customers already.
Great. Well, that's all the questions we're going to take for now. We will continue to stay on the chat for another half hour, so if you want to send more questions in, go ahead and we'll be providing answers. In the meantime, we'd like to thank you for joining us today on this webcast of the NX. If you'd like to watch a recording of this webcast, it will be available on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search Ferno EMS, and you'll find this recording. If you want more information on the NX, you can also call us at 877-733-0911, or you can visit us at our website at fernoems.com/INX. Thank you so much for your time today and have a great afternoon.